In my hand is a single drop of homemade solution. Just this one drop will create a barrier that no tick dares to cross. It is not the kind of chemical the spray companies use. It is the power of nature concentrated down to protect your family. Most industrial tick sprays today contain permethrin, a substance that can cause seizures and become life-threatening for cats because their livers cannot process it. Instead of spending money on $30 spray bottles full of chemicals, I am going to show you how to make a mixture that is just as powerful but completely safe for pets and small children using the most unbelievable ingredient, vodka. This is the miracle emulsifier that makes sure ticks are killed by destroying their breathing system immediately. But the spray is only half the battle. Later in the video, I will share old folk tricks for protecting your body, simple, almost free methods that help you walk through the tallest fields of grass without a single tick being able to latch onto your skin. Watch until the end to get the secret to repelling ticks that is stronger than any expensive spray contract out there today. In earlier videos, we talked a lot about the smells ticks do not like. But today, I do not want to treat scent like a little trick anymore. Today, I want to explain why plants can become a tick's worst enemy and then turn that principle into clear spray recipes that are easy to make, strong enough, but still pleasant for people. To understand that, you have to step into the tick's view of the world. It reads the world through heat, body odor, breath, sweat, moisture, and tiny vibrations when you walk by. So when you put a strong layer of plant scent at the right contact point, you are not just making the back door smell better, you are throwing a scent bomb into the tick's path, making the familiar signals of a host more confusing. That is when we need a spray bottle in the places ticks actually touch: shoe socks, pant legs, leashes, doormats, and the path pets use to come into the house. I also have to give my wife credit here. The scent recipes from before, including the homemade garlic solution, were mostly things she researched and tried first. They are useful, and a lot of viewers have said so. But some people were honest too. A few of the smells are a little rough on people, and they are not wrong. So this time, the goal is not just to make ticks uncomfortable. The goal is to create a scent barrier that is strong enough for ticks, but pleasant enough that people will actually want to use it again. I will start with the recipe that people are most curious about, and also the simplest one, with 1 orange. Recipe 1, orange, mint, and vinegar. My wife started with orange first, not because it sounds strange, but because it is the scent she likes best, and my whole family can handle it too. After strong-smelling recipes like garlic, we needed something that was still clear enough for ticks not to like, but would not make the kids wrinkle their faces every time they walked past the back door. Orange, mint, and vinegar sound very simple, almost too simple. But because it is simple, easy to find, easy to mix, and easy to use again, I want to start here. A spray bottle is only useful when you actually want to use it tomorrow. If the smell is too harsh, it will sit in the cabinet after the first try. I call this recipe the backdoor spray, not a spray for dogs or cats, not something to soak the whole yard with. It is a layer of scent placed at the back door where the whole family shoes, leashes, doormats, and pets pass through every day. The method is very simple. Take 1 orange and slice it thin. Put it in a pot with about 300 milliliters of water, add 3 mint tea bags, then simmer for about 10 minutes. Once the water has a clearer orange and mint smell, turn off the heat and strain out the orange pieces and tea bags. Let the water cool a bit, then add 3 tablespoons of vinegar. Finally, pour the mixture into a spray bottle. These 3 things do not go together just for fun. Each one has its own role. Orange gives a bright, clean citrus scent that people like. Mint adds a cool, sharp layer, making the mixture clearer and stronger. Vinegar adds the sour, harsh part, so this spray is not just scented water. Put simply, orange and mint make people in the house willing to use it, while vinegar makes the backdoor path less pleasant for ticks. I am not saying this bottle is a tick killer. I am also not saying you spray it once and ticks disappear from the yard. This is a scent layer that makes the backdoor path less attractive to ticks. It makes the points where ticks might pass through more unpleasant, instead of leaving the back door, the doormat, and the shoe area completely unprotected. I usually use it on the back doormat, the shoe area, the soles of gardening shoes, the outside of pant legs, the doorstep patio table legs, and the dog leash. With the leash, I spray lightly and let it dry before using it. I do not soak it. I just want to create a thin scent layer at the important contact points. What I want you to take from this recipe is not just orange mint and vinegar. I want you to remember this principle. Choose a smell the people in your house can handle. Add a clearer smell. Add a little sourness or bite. Then spray it in the right places where ticks might hitch a ride into the house. From that principle, you can create many similar, simple spray bottles. But if this first one feels like a spray from the kitchen, the next recipe feels like taking the whole herb garden and placing it in front of the back door. And there are 3 very ordinary herbs that can become the guards for your shoes and doormat. Recipe 2, rosemary, thyme, and basil. In a previous video, we talked about plants ticks do not like, and rosemary is one of them. My family grows rosemary too. At first, I just thought of it as a fragrant bush in the corner of the garden, something you walk past, brush with your hand, and then notice that pleasant smell. But my wife looked at it and asked a very good question. If ticks do not like this smell, why are we just letting it sit out there? That question changed the way I looked at the rosemary bush. Planting creates scent in one location. A spray bottle lets you put that scent at the exact contact point. So this second recipe is not meant to replace planting. It is a way to bring the herb garden to places the bush cannot reach. Here is how to make it. Put about 2 cups of water in a pot. Add 2 tablespoons of dried rosemary, 2 tablespoons of dried thyme, and 1 tablespoon of dried basil. Simmer for about 30 minutes so the water can pull out the herbal scent. Then turn off the heat and let it cool. If you want it to cool faster, you can add a few ice cubes. Finally, strain the liquid and pour it into a spray bottle. Rosemary is the main character. Its smell is strong, dry, and very clear. Thyme adds a warmer, sharper part, so the mixture does not feel too soft. Basil makes the smell greener, more familiar, and more pleasant for people in the house. Herbal tea water is not as strong as concentrated essential oil, and I do not call it a tick killer. But it is enough to create a light, clear scent layer in the places you choose. I like using this version on gardening gear, shoes, gloves, the outside of pant legs, hoe handles, shovels, pruning shears, dog leashes, and the doormat. With the leash, spray lightly and let it dry before using it. With the doormat, spray just enough for it to have a scent. Do not soak it. But there is one problem. Herbal tea water is still just brewed water. It is cheap and easy to make, but it does not cling for very long. When you stay out in the garden longer, you will need a spray bottle with a base that holds better. That is the third recipe. Recipe 3, witch hazel water, alcohol, glycerin, essential oils, and aloe. The third recipe is the one my wife tested over and over the most. Not because it is hard to mix, but because it had to solve a problem the first 2 bottles did not handle well, lasting longer without being too greasy, too harsh, or leaving oil floating on the surface. By the final test, my wife put a whole bottle of vodka on the kitchen table. I looked at her for a moment because I honestly did not think vodka would show up in a tick spray. It sounds funny, but vodka is not in this recipe for show. It helps the essential oils spread more evenly and helps the spray dry faster on shoes, gloves, or outdoor clothing. I used to think adding essential oil to water, shaking it up and spraying was enough. But after a few tries, you will see that oil and water do not stay together for long. Without something to help them disperse, the first few sprays may be almost just water. By the end of the bottle, you may have a part that is way too strong. Here is how to make it. Put half a cup of witch hazel and half a cup of water into a bottle. Add 1 tablespoon of vodka or alcohol. Add 1 teaspoon of vegetable glycerin. If you want it to feel gentler on skin, add 1 teaspoon of aloe. Then add drops of essential oil, which can be cedarwood, lavender, rosemary, or lemon eucalyptus. Shake very well before every use. What makes this version different from the first two is that everything in the bottle has a reason. Witch hazel is the base and it feels lighter than using only water. Vodka helps the essential oils disperse more evenly and helps the mixture dry faster. Glycerin helps the scent cling a little longer. Aloe makes the recipe feel gentler. The essential oil is the main scent. Because this version has essential oil and alcohol, I'm more careful with it. Do not spray it on cats. Do not spray it directly on dogs. Do not spray it on the face, eyes, nose, or mouth. If you spray it near skin, test a small area first. And do not leave this bottle in the sun or in a hot car. This is why my wife was happiest with this final version. It feels like a more serious spray bottle, but it is still something an ordinary family can make at home. But after 3 spray recipes, I have to be honest, spray is only a barrier. It cannot erase the place where ticks are living. To do this right, we have to get to the root of it, wiping out their hiding places. Wipe out tick hiding places. Now I have to say, the thing a lot of people do not want to hear, these 3 spray bottles can help, but they are not enough. Spray helps block the way in. But if the hiding places are still there, you are just making the ticks take a different route. I still start with the simplest jobs, mowing the grass, raking up dead leaves, opening up the fence line, and clearing the damp, shady corners around the back door. It is not flashy, but that is how you take away the places ticks like to wait. Ticks do not need a pretty lawn in the middle of the yard. They like the edges of the yard, low brush, dead leaves, shade moisture, and little pathways where pets or wild animals pass through. But there is one thing I want to talk about more carefully, even though I have already made a whole video about it on the channel Diatomaceous Earth. Diatomaceous earth looks like a very ordinary white powder, but on a microscopic level, it is like tiny pieces of glass. It does not repel ticks with smell. It works by contact. When ticks or other tiny creatures crawl across that dry powder, the outer layer that helps them hold moisture can get scratched and have moisture pulled out. Put simply, it strips away their water-holding armor. But the way you use it matters a lot. Do not pour it into piles. A thin layer is the right way to use it. I like using diatomaceous earth in dry places under the doormat, along the shoe area, in dry cracks, near the back door, the garage, a dry porch, or under a pet bed. But I do not let pets lie directly on the dust, and I do not sprinkle it like powder onto dogs or cats. The biggest mistake is putting it down too thick or using it somewhere damp. Diatomaceous earth needs to stay dry. When it gets wet, it loses most of its power. And even if it is food grade, you still do not want small children, older adults, or pets breathing this dust into their lungs. So use a little, keep it low, avoid kicking dust into the air, and let it sit quietly in dry cracks and low traffic spots. I also do not use diatomaceous earth as an excuse not to clean. I clean first vacuum, first wash the pet bed first, and then use a thin layer in dry places. Vacuum the doormat, the shoe area, the edges of the sofa, and the places where pets like to lie down. Wash the pet bed if the label allows it, dry it really well. And only then think about adding another thin layer of powder. Do not forget the leash collar and harness, because those are the things that go out into the yard and come back into the house every day. Now you can see the full picture more clearly. Spray is the scent barrier. Diatomaceous earth and clearing hiding places are how you break down the stronghold. But even when you have done both, there is still one final place. Ticks are always trying to reach your body, especially your ankles, socks, shoes, and pant legs. And when it comes to the body, I will be even more honest. Some folk tricks are worth trying. Some are only worth knowing about. And some things you absolutely should not do once a tick is already attached to your skin. A few tips to protect your body. There is one part a lot of people overlook, but to me it is very important: protecting your own body. The problem is not always in the backyard, the doormat, or the dog's bed. Sometimes the problem starts very simply. You step outside with bare ankles, low socks, loose pant legs, and you think you are only going out for a few minutes. The first trick is tape around the top of your socks. It sounds simple, maybe even a little funny, but it is very practical. Take duct tape or another strong tape and wrap it around the top of your socks or the lower part of your pant legs. Keep the sticky side facing outward, not against your skin. When a tick crawls up from your shoe, it may get caught on that sticky ring before it climbs any higher. The second trick is Vicks. I see Vicks as a strong scent trick for the ankle area, not a tick killer. Some people rub a very thin layer around the edge of the shoe, the top of the sock, or the outside of the pant leg. The upside is that it is easy to find, the smell is clear, and you do not have to mix anything. But use just a little. Do not put it on wounds, eyes, nose, irritated skin, and do not let dogs or cats lick it. The third trick is coconut oil. Coconut oil feels gentler on the skin and can create a light, slick layer around the ankles or lower skin when you're doing light gardening. I do not see it as a magic shield, but it can be an extra layer for someone who does not like harsher smells. Just remember that coconut oil can pick up dust stick to clothing, and it does not replace tall socks, closed shoes, long pants, or checking for ticks after you come inside. As for Dawn dish soap, I put it in its proper role cleaning. Some people say Dawn helps deal with ticks, and I am not dismissing their experience. But for me, Dawn is better for washing hands, shoes, tools, leashes, or things that just came through the yard. And finally, folk tricks need to have a stopping point. If after a bite you get a fever, body aches, a strange rash, unusual fatigue, or a weird reaction after eating red meat, do not keep trying to handle it with home tricks. Call a doctor. I am truly glad to see this tick control series becoming useful for so many people. But I also have to be honest, I did not get it right from the start. I have had times when I mixed things wrong, sprayed the wrong place, made the smell too harsh, or thought one small trick could solve the whole problem. What matters is that each time I learned a little more, adjusted a little more, and sometimes it was my wife or a comment from one of you that helped me see a better direction. So let me know what impressed you most in today's video or in this whole tick control series. Maybe one small experience from you will become the idea for the next method for me or for my wife to test in our own backyard. And subscribe to the channel because tick season is not over yet. The fight with ticks still has a long way to go. Maybe next time I will share how to use a hairdryer on clothes and gear after going out into the garden, a method I have used to reduce the risk of tick bites.